not wanting to put straw down all over my yard. First of all, it costs a small fortune to do that. It's really good as far as that. She still does not have her baby. She's shocking. Hopefully she stays there. Down there for the eating off or anything like that. So it's that. Definitely check it out. It's a really good video. Finding music as well. There's
Hello everyone, I'm Cassie and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to fulfill a request of someone who wanted pralines, but they did not want pralines that you cook down on the stove, which are the best ones. Okay. I tried to convince them, but they wouldn't have it. They've already been introduced to the quick and easy way, and I'm going to fulfill her request, right? So in today's recipe for the pralines, I've already melted my butter. You need 1/4 cup of butter, not room temperature butter, but actually melted butter. So you can melt it by placing it on your stove and melting it. You can place it in the oven, your microwave for like 40 seconds, roughly, depending on the wattage of your microwaves, and you can melt your butter. Okay, pretty simple. All right, now, to this recipe, I'm going to add 1 cup of white granulated sugar that's already measured and leveled. I'm just going to mix that into my butter. And my request is that you do use a wooden spatula. Not a silicone, but a wooden. Anytime you're making any type of candy, it is best to use a wooden spatula. Next, we're going to add 1 cup of light brown sugar. And no, you do not have to pack it. The request is in the recipe calls for 1 cup of light brown sugar. Okay. Again, I'm going to mix this into my granulated sugar and butter. All of these new quick and easy recipes, they redefine scratch, right? I'm used to doing mine from scratch. I'm usually used to using like half and half or evaporated milk. You can use whole milk, or you can use sweetened condensed milk, either or. And I'm used to cooking mine down on the stove. I kind of like those better. And actually, my older sister has a really good recipe, because she was the first to make pralines, and she's been doing them for years. So I don't really have to make them. I can just call her because she makes them really well. See, I share the love. I give people credit for what they do. I don't try to mimic it. All right. So this is my light brown sugar and my granulated sugar and butter all mixed together. Okay. And that's what it looks like. You just mix it up until it looks moist. All right. The next thing I'm going to do to this recipe is I'm going to add my salt. It calls for 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And that's per her request. Some people feel like they can't live without salt. They have to add salt to everything. The next step is to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract flavor, whichever you call it. Again, I use the Watkins bacon extract, and that's going to be 1 teaspoon. Making sure everything is well incorporated, it's mixed together. Next, you add 1 can of sweetened condensed milk, and this is the 14-ounce can. Now you can use evaporated milk. You can also use half and half. Her request was sweetened condensed milk. And this is one of my students, actually. Right? Sweetened condensed milk. I'm going to stir all of this together and make sure it's well incorporated. I told her this is a cheap way to do pralines, but you know, you give them what they want. One good thing about it is you don't have a whole lot of cleanup behind it. Alright, so now that I have everything mixed well, I'll show you. It's all, let's turn the light on here. So I have all of my sugar, brown sugar, my granulated white sugar, salt, vanilla extract, and sweetened condensed milk. And it's all mixed well together. Right? Now the next step is to place it in the microwave. And you place it in the microwave for, it says 10 minutes. Alright? And every 2 minutes you need to stop the microwave and you're going to stir it to mix it. Alright? Now, the reason I said use a wooden spatula is because, you know, when you're making any kind of candy, and even with cookies, they tend to cling to everything. But with the wooden, you can kind of place it in some cold water, and it'll work well. Everything will come right off it, okay? As you can see. So now I'm going to place you on a brief pause while I pop this in the microwave. And in putting it in the microwave, I'm going to set it for 10 minutes, I'm sorry. Then I'm going to take it out every 2 minutes, and then I will stir it and place it back in. I'll pick you back up when I'm finished with my 10 minutes. Okay, everyone, I've removed it from the microwave. Be very careful because even when you're doing your stirs after every 2 minutes for the total 10-minute mark, the bowl gets very hot, and of course, you know, the ingredients in the bowl are extremely hot. So be very careful when handling it. But once I take it from the microwave, this is what it looks like. Very creamy. Okay. So now the next step is to line your counter with your wax paper or parchment paper and make sure that you spray your paper very well because this is candy, okay? And it will stick. And if you don't spray your wax paper or your parchment paper, it's going to be very, very hard to remove the candy. Now, she doesn't like pecans, so I'm going to do half of this without pecans, and then I'm going to incorporate the other pecans into the other half of it, and I'll do that half with the pecans. So when you drop it, you can drop it by using a cooking spoon, or you can use a teaspoon, a tablespoon, but however big you would like them, you can use your wooden spoon. You can drop them accordingly. So you just drop them on your wax paper or your parchment paper, the desired size, and you will leave them here for roughly about 2 to 3 hours until they, as we call it, solidify. Right? And then we'll have pralines with and without pecans. If you would like to, if you don't like pecans and you would like to use almonds, or if you want to use walnuts, if you would like to use pistachio nuts, macadamia nuts, any nut of desire, you can of course place it in your candy. Same with the cookies. You can substitute. All right. So we're going to make, it looks like 15 without the pecans. And then for whatever is left, you hear my dog? So whatever amount is left, I'm going to add the pecans to this, which isn't a lot, and I'll probably make roughly about 9. We'll take a brief pause. So I'm going to just add, I cut up roughly about 1/4 of a cup of pecans, but I'm not going to add all of those to this. I'll just add accordingly. I kind of eyeball it. Mix it up. All right, now I'll get a piece of wax paper. And I do have my cold water for my spoon. Again, make sure you spray your paper. Makes it easier for your candy to release. Right. And then for these, I'll do the same thing. And these are starting to solidify, so it's not really going to take the whole 2 to 3 hours, but that's the recommended time. And this can also be done on top of the stove. I'm going to make these the way she wants them, and then I'm going to make some on top, and I'm going to see if she can taste the difference. I feel they're much better when you do them on top of the stove. So as far as the ones with pecans, I was actually able to make 6 of them, which is fine. Right. So now we will allow these to sit for about 2 to 3 hours, and I will pick you back up when they're ready. Okay, everyone, I'm back, and the candy has shaped and molded. This is the ones that have the pecans. As you can see, it's very easy to be released from the paper. Okay. I made 6 of those. And then the actual praline with no pecans is very easy to be released from the paper. Again, the key here is to make sure that you spray your wax paper, and even if you use parchment paper, make sure that you spray it or grease it. Use a baking spray, or you can use shortening or a vegetable oil, olive oil, any kind of oil. Just make sure that the paper is greased. And as you can see, they all lift up very well, very easily from the paper. All right. So I'm going to just bag these up for my student and deliver them to her. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for joining me for today's preparation. This is very easy and quick praline candy that you can make as a treat for your children, nieces, nephews, your friends' children. If you want to give a gift to an instructor or students, you can make some very quick praline candy. I've tasted it. It tastes pretty good, but I still prefer the one that you cook on top of the stove. But I'm not going to be the consumer of this, and so as I said before, I aim to please. I prepare the things the way my client asked me to prepare them. All right. So again, thank you again for joining me. If you are a subscriber, I thank you so much for subscribing. If you just stopped by and you're visiting, thank you. I look forward to you subscribing in the future. If you would, please click the thumbs up. That shows that you like the videos, and it just helps to push them out into the algorithm so that others can get to view the same wonderful treats that you get to see that I've actually prepared. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please do. And if you have a comment, please leave it in a comment below. All positive suggestions, no negative, because I'm going to stroll right past you to the next positive. If you have a recipe that you're struggling with, email it to cassieskitchencreations@gmail.com, and I will prepare it, record it, upload it, and share it with you and everyone else. And you can then follow along with me on the cook or the bake. All right, thanks again, and I will see you on the next bake.